Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 101 of Technically Trick. I am your host, Dave Prime, and my co-host, I have no idea where she disappeared to, so we got Travis filling in really quick. How's it going, man? Uh-oh, your audio's cutting out.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, it's going good. It's going good. Just surviving in the sense, because we're at what they call it, hump day for the week.
Yeah.
We're hump day because it's Wednesday and stuff and everything.
Yep.
But oh no,
What?
and and stuff. And listen at this little fun fact too for our audience and stuff and everything, and people in chat. Um, 2 days ago, I just learned this. 2 days ago, a cartoon character turned 91 years old. Was debuted in 1935. You don't know who that is?
Oh, Felix?
Porky the Pig.
Porky the Pig. Yip-a-dip-a-dip-a-dip-a-dip-a-dip.
Yeah, Porky the Pig turned 91 Monday. I was like, you know what? I'm about to share that, just because it's just one of those. We all grew up with, Looney Tunes and stuff. I was like, wow,
Oh, yeah.
Porky the Pig is 91.
So I don't feel as old now. But yeah,
Me neither.
Katie's just saying she's having some technical difficulties. If she needs to end up hopping in on her tablet to get on board, well, she'll do that because this was an emotional episode. It's saying I just rewatched it just shortly before we went on to air here, so there is definitely that. But yeah, it's just like Katie, it's like the radio show. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be technically trick if there weren't at least a few technical hiccups.
Yeah, we have some technical hiccups and stuff like that. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, who anybody who's watching us and stuff, you can join us. There's this down in the description below and stuff. You can join us. We would love to hear your comments and stuff. We're one of the few channels that offer this type of feature and stuff. Other channels do, but when we're live, we want all participation, whether you agree with us or not and stuff. We want to hear, but if you too camera shy to like me and Dave and stuff, you can go on audio. We could just hear your lovely voice and stuff. Or we got Dylan in chat, and we got I
We
see
got
Katie
Sixer
and
back.
stuff.
We got
Yeah,
Sixer backstage.
Sixer, and stuff. Hey, we appreciate and we welcome everybody who is, willing to, be participant and stuff and everything, who are not going to be agitators and stuff, but like we welcome, the friendly dialogue and stuff and everything else. I know me and Katie, we have our banter and stuff and everything, but at the end of the day, we love each other.
But speaking of technical issues, saying we are in a transitional period with our partners. Saying W has been great. You can still get 10% off your order by going to w.gg and using the code WARPME, WARPME, and you get 10% off your order on products, as long as it's not a specialty product or any bundled product sort of thing. But yeah, saying stay tuned. The new partnership, it's going to be tasty. But I ordered my starter supply back on Saturday, and here we are Wednesday. They haven't even processed the order yet, even though they charged me for it.
Boy,
So,
it never fails to, you get charged and they take your money, but yet it takes time for the product to get to you, which is understandable. But you'll pay such outrageous prices, and to be like, it should be 2 to 3 days. Express, if you order like it depends on like express delivery or whatever and stuff. But I mean, it'd be like,
yeah,
oh yeah, we'll wait at least about 5-6 days before you get your order.
they only had one shipping option, just flat rate
Yeah,
shipping. But it's coming out of Arizona, so it's not that far to get here.
Okay, yeah. You're right there next
So
door to Arizona.
it's a little Scottsdale, Phoenix. It's a little closer than San Diego, where W is based out of. But My W
Right.
stuff got here quicker than that. So, and uh, I'm using my different glasses tonight. These are better for reading, but it really sucks when it comes to it doesn't have the anti-reflective as my other glasses do. So it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. You never know. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. But you want to get on
But
and start talking about this particular episode, Dave?
well, before that, I'd say because oh, there's Katie. Let's
She's
see,
back.
maybe.
Okay. Technically
Yeah.
check everybody. A little difficult, but
Yeah, maybe she's connecting with her. She might be connecting with her tablet.
I don't
Am
want to
I
jinx
There
here?
she
anything.
is.
If there was
Yay!
something said behind backstage
Uh,
with Zach, it was Zach. I'm not gonna jinx it. But I was like, nope, I ain't saying that.
no, if this cuts out again, then I am never doing Technically Trek from my PC again. And I will do it from my tablet because I've got a little table that I can have on my bed, and I will just do Technically Trek from there because this seems to be happening a lot. But this issue only ever happens.
Huh? What?
What?
You froze for like 10 seconds. No, it was like.
I kid you not. It reminded me of the episode. It was a Timescape in TNG. It reminded me of where Deanna Troy was like, and then everybody else stopped. It
Picard's like
reminded me of
mid
that.
sip.
It was so funny. It was like Timescape. I kid you not. It's crazy. I'm sorry. Camera
Yeah,
froze.
well, what I'm going to do is I am going to have my phone handy and don't even get me started on Mercury
Dylan,
retrograde, darling.
Dylan,
No,
Phil,
don't
Brittany,
even
I
do
see you guys.
No, because Mercury retrograde actually does affect technology. But I'm not having YouTube up on my PC anymore. I'm gonna put my comments on via my cell. So if you see me on my cell, it's because I'm commenting on YouTube. And I wholeheartedly blame Zach.
I'm not gonna jinx it.
Oh no. And you know why I blame Zach? Because earlier on, when I was in the live chat on his show, he says to everyone, oh yeah, go to Technically Trek, here Kate is cackle, see back Katie, and he says something else as well, and I'm just like, no, don't even jinx me, and he has jinxed me. So I wholeheartedly blame my darling Zach, but I love him.
While you're going on that banter, he dropped off.
Yeah.
He knows I love him. He knows.
Well, he's gonna scurry off eventually, anyways. But
yes, I'm
really
glad that I have anti-homicide juice here.
Yeah, but I say the one thing, say a couple episodes ago, when Sam started to show a level of affection towards the doctor just said, none of that. And say it was the episode where she got drunk, and it's just like, yeah, there was just this cold response, and I said that something bad happened in his past. And my thought was that it was somebody close. I was thinking it's probably going to be Janeway, possibly Seven, or some other organic in his life between the end of Voyager, Prodigy, and what we have now in Strange New Worlds. Holy fuck, I was wrong. See, we've long enough in the
speculation.
well, no, that was my speculation. It's that's the best scientists. They have
That's the best you
hypotheses.
can get,
Sometimes
yeah.
it's spot on. Sometimes they're way off base, and I was in the Delta Quadrant off base on this one. But
Oh,
yeah, I see Sixer cackling backstage, so I'm going to go ahead and bring him into the chat. We still got 6 spaces available
Hello
for
there.
anyone that wants to. Got 6 slots available if anyone else wants to hop in. So
absolutely.
we got about we got at least a half dozen watching. So if anyone wants to join, click that link for Discord for StreamYard down below to get in on the chat. But no, Discord, I have been bad about not getting the old episodes uploaded on that. Or God, I can't even get it's been a week. Say Discord, if you want to hop on Discord, you get to partake in some of the backstage shenanigans. I want to eventually get things going, kind of like what they do with Strange New Pod, where they say, hey, what did you think about this episode? We're going to read your responses at the end of the show. Love to do something like that. I say, but Spotify, that's what I was trying to spit out. Links down below I got a couple of old episodes on there. I want to start loading the recent ones. So if you missed tonight live, you can listen vicariously in the comfort of your own home, in the car while you're driving, just hearing everyone's cackle and anything like that. But yeah, we want to talk about the life in the stars. Say we get Tilly back. Say, but there's a lot of trauma involved in this, and watching this episode made me realize I need to do a rewatch of Discovery, because there's a lot of stuff in Discovery that I've totally, absolutely forgotten about. So I'm thinking in the near future, if time allows, as I always say, if we were on Bajor, there's still not enough hours in the day to get all the stuff I want to get done taken care of.
Well, yeah, so you're trying to remember it. I'm trying to forget it. But there you go.
You see, I tried to forget season 1 of Discovery. The rest of it, I really do love. I mean, season 2 is basically the prequel to Strange New Worlds. I actually really like that. I mean, it's different, but I really do like Discovery from season 2.
Well, I always have a rule: if I start doing this, I know I'm not going to like it. When I start fast forwarding, I know I'm not going to like it, and I did that a lot. So there you go.
Yeah, but like I say, there's as I said in the description on the socials, there's a lot of trauma involved in this episode. We got the cadets still dealing with the trauma from the Miyazaki. We got Sam glitching out, so she's got her own physical traumas going on, and then of course the emotional trauma. Exactly, and then of course the doctor's trauma. So it's just like a traumatic episode in every word of the sense. See, but and not only that, it's just the little way I was getting off of when Tamira came back, and she came back to the academy instead of the war college. She was definitely a shell of herself at the beginning of the episode. She was just very, very cold, very, very android like. Dare I use the term? There's little to no emotion with that neural inhibitor. It just sapped the joy out of her. Hey, Bat Katie. Sixer.
Right, but can I, before we actually get started, I just want to say, while I've been waiting for my anime to do chapter 11, I've been working on a passion project of my own, original sci-fi series I'm creating called Dragon 6, using Blender. So I'm learning to still using Blender, and I've got some still frames I wouldn't mind showing you, so you know what Dragon 6 looks like. I'll just, if you don't mind, I will.
Yeah.
I'll show you some freeze frames that I created using Blender. Just bear with me. He says trying to find them, and I can't find them. Bear with me. I'm do apologize.
Stand by.
Stand by for action.
But you know,
there we go.
You found it?
Yeah.
All right.
So this is from what I'm trying to put together at the moment, and this is just one of the scenes freeze frame. I'll do. There's some more I did.
Freeze frame.
So these are all. Haven't animated it yet. I'm just building sets at the moment. Just building sets. So, but gives you an idea what I'm doing.
Right on.
Oh, okay.
So what's the name of the little hovery robot?
Vox. Her name's Vox.
Vox.
Yeah. And the other one's just basically just simply known as Six, Dragon 6. Because she doesn't know who she is.
Mm.
Yeah, so that gives you an idea what I'm working on. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Right on. So we'll get.
So yeah, so I'm doing that in between while I'm waiting for my animator to do the animation and rendering for Defiant, Star Trek Defiant on my channel. Please subscribe and watch. Had to get that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was doing that. I thought I'll work on my own project. And I'm learning to use Blender, so I'm doing my own thing. So trying to, it's not going to be as cool and well smooth like my animator here, but I am learning.
It's all a process.
It is a very long process.
Practice, not perfection.
Well, it says that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, we're going to see what happens there.
Well, and even though into my sobriety, I can't really agree with the doctor's quote as much now as I did back then. But when he was talking with Seven, just because you didn't achieve perfection your first time out does not mean you should give up.
Yeah.
But anyways, Life of the Stars. Tamira's coming back to the academy. Everyone's like, it's like, hey, welcome back. But you can see it in the background. It's like Raimi's being a bully again. It's just like the tension's running high. And but when we went to Sam and Genesis's quarters, saying Sam made the comment that she dropped Genesis' toothbrush, which that was the first indicator in retrospect that she was glitching out, because she didn't drop it intentionally. She dropped it because her hand just glitched out.
Yeah.
And you know the thing about too, they because I watched Sean Ferrett's channel and he does a recap on the previous episode that we're talking about and stuff. And I watched.
And again, I forgot.
Hmm?
And again, I didn't get a chance to watch it; just ran out of time.
See, I watched it for the both of us and stuff. But he mentioned too. He disagreed. He kind of disagreed that they forced her to return, but she didn't go to the war college. She went to the academies, and it's like she wasn't given that choice. It was forced on him. He was like, he gave that a thumbs down. He was like, yeah, I really, to take that choice away from her, it showed that they didn't like trust her. You know.
Well, I think.
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to step on your toes here, but the way I picked up on it from Ake's log and talking with the doctor, which that little speech that the doctor did for his log at the beginning of the episode kind of set the tone for the whole shebang. But I think it was it was decided between Ake and Kelrick that the academy was going to be a better fit for her than the war college, because they didn't want to put her in a situation like she was in again. So they took the choice.
Sean pointed out it'd be the same either the war college or the academies. There should be no difference. There's really no difference. And he made a comparison. It's like, what you just said is exactly what Sean mentioned and stuff. And it was he kind of pointed that out, and he was like, it really would have made no difference and stuff, just because they're at two different institutions. Both institutions are working together side by side.
I mean, they're like Oh, how's the phrasing go? It's just like the coin analogy. My brain's not braining today. The two sides of a different coin, or
Two sides of the same coin.
two sides of the same coin. Yeah.
Yeah.
I say honestly, I thought two sides of the same coin. That sounded right, but it did sound right in my head. So being
Well,
verbalized,
two
the same.
cheeks of the same arsehole. There you go.
Oh, you crazy
It sounds
Brits!
like you're-
How the hell are we crazy? You speak weird.
There's the cackle.
Now you see,
Oh, my.
complicated. It's like which meets like
The Joker.
dolphins. No, it's like a witch meets a dolphin, and they had a baby, and then it's on mushrooms. That's what my laugh's like.
Witch
Maybe.
Hazel and Flipper. Witch Hazel and Flipper have a love child, and Katie's the result.
Yay!
Engineering, Katie. Shame on
And
you.
it's the most child of birth control. Have you ever seen it?
Honestly, I can honestly say one thing: you'll never meet anyone like me again. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's the truth.
Yeah. But one thing I gotta say, and this is going to be a deep cut callback to the first season of Next Generation, is Jaden's sneeze is weak sauce compared to Worf when he had the sneezes in that one that I wish I wrote down the name of the episode. Help me out here, Travis. It's when everyone started getting sick on the ship.
Wolf had that to,
Oh, the naked
yeah.
now?
Oh, was it the Naked Now? When Worf sneezed so loud they could hear him in engineering.
I know what you mean.
No. That
Oh.
wasn't the naked now. Oh, that was oh shoot.
I'm trying to remember myself now.
No, it was the one where Wesley hit Picard with that slush ball, and it had that stuff in it, and it just started getting everybody like sick.
Can't remember now.
Was it Angel One? No, it wasn't Angel One.
I think it was because they couldn't beam everybody back up because of the. I'm pretty sure it was because Riker and Troy and Yar were stuck down on the planet because they couldn't beam them up because of the sickness, because of the illness.
Yeah. Oh shoot! I know it wasn't the last outpost.
No, I'm pretty sure it was. You know what? I'm gonna have to look it up now. I'm gonna.
Because I know it's one of the things. It's like, oh my god. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this, and
I'm trying to think. And right now I'm just like, what the heck?
And it's pointless asking me because I barely know episode names.
Phil, you meant on about CGI. Neither did I until I started doing it. So there you go. And I'm still learning. There you go. Sorry, just a comment that Phil just said.
Oh yeah.
Oh, as a
yes, it was Angel One. I'm just looking at still images on IMDb, and like there's one of Data just alone on the bridge because he was the only one unaffected.
Yeah, Angel One.
Phil, as that song went, it's been a long road.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah, but like I said,
Worf. I like the speed up version.
But Worf, his sneezes were like epic, and it's like a church mouse when Jaden sneezed, and then they just scurried him off to his quarters to
quarantine. They say like he got to be quarantined
to sleep it off. Essentially, is what they were telling him to do. Since he refused to go to the doctor, which I'm thinking, that's something the doctor I think would have been able to, because with his experience with B'Elanna.
Yeah, I mean, I love Jaden. I really do. He is absolutely adorable. And even his sneezes are adorable. I'm sorry, but they are.
Yeah, but like I said, just from past iterations of Trek, it's like it. I weak sauce. That's exactly what I wrote down. And
One thing that I do find interesting about this episode is the play, because it has a very strange beauty to it.
It does.
And
how it kind of integrated to the episode in of itself.
Yeah, and that was genius. Sam picking that play and the understanding that she had of it as well. And now, I can't remember if I've said this on air or if it was backstage, but when we've previously been reviewing episodes, I think it was actually the first episode of Academy, and we like got to know Sam a little bit. She really is like a toddler with her enthusiasm. And one thing that I did say is, I can't remember my exact words, but it was something to the effect of, well, if she hasn't had a childhood and she hasn't grown up and learned the ropes, so to speak, how is she going to cope at the academy? Because that's like putting a 3-year-old into the academy, into a situation like that. And I have been very concerned about her all along. And the relationship that she's wanted to have with the Doctor. I mean, I've recently done a rewatch of Voyager, and I mean, part of the Doctor's trauma is definitely like why he is so detached now, is because he has had to watch everybody he loves, all of his family, live and die. And he's just carried on. And especially with the family that he created as well.
Which, spoiler alert.
But, this episode, I mean, I said backstage before all the technical difficulties, I had to pause this episode at one point because I cried so much. It really hit me in the feels. Just everything that went on in this episode, all the emotion it dredged up, the serious trauma that they've all been through. Losing people before their time, and then Sam, like, basically on death's door. It really did hit me in the feels, and to some extent, this entire episode resonated with me on a personal level. Especially the situation with Tamira. And yeah, it's probably the deepest episode of Academy so far.
It's definitely one of the stronger episodes of this season too, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I've loved all the episodes. I have, and I don't care what anybody says. It is a good show in its own right. And I like to see where it all started And when I say where it all started, I mean the academy. You know, like our favorite captains went there. That's where they started off, and that's where they learned all their values and got their strength to become officers. And you know, regardless of any training, they gained strength at the academy. And watching it and watching what these cadets are going through, not only can I be like, do you know what? I remember similar things, obviously in a very different context, like going on when I was in high school and college. And some of these things like resonate with me, and it helps me to reminisce. But also, I wonder, like, what was Jean-Luc like at the academy? What was Cisco like at the academy? What was Janeway like? You know, and even some of, not just the captains, you know, I mean, what was Miles O'Brien like at the academy? Because he went, didn't he? At one point, because he was an enlisted officer at one point.
No, he is only enlisted. He skipped the academy, went straight to serve in Starfleet. That's why he doesn't want to.
He was an NCO.
Yes.
Yeah, of course he was. Yeah, my
He only
apologies.
spent he only did he was enlisted for 2 years. Why when you train to be an officer, it's a 4-year program.
Mm.
Yeah, that costuming just made it look like he was a lieutenant because with the pips and stuff and all that rigmarole. Then all of a sudden he went from lieutenant junior grade to a chief. And say, I don't think they had a chief pin when things first started there, so they kind of retconned that a lot. So that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
But no, I still like to see where all the greats started, even though this is like way in the future from like Manus Discovery, like the rest of Trek. But yeah, I'm really loving Starfleet Academy, and I'm watching it very objectively, and I'm not nitpicking. I'm not looking for things to dislike. And I think that's why I like it so much, because I am going into it completely objectively.
Mm.
And you know how I watch things. I don't just watch things. I look deep into it. I look into the psychology of everything, the messages behind the episodes, and I always like go really deep into it. So I often see things that others don't because of how my brain works in that sense. But I have to disagree with what you said earlier, Dave.
What's that?
About, I can never remember his name.
Caleb?
No, I can remember Caleb's name, Tamira's, Genesis, Jaden.
Darren Ockham?
Remy?
Is it
Darren?
The blue guy. Yeah.
Darren.
Yeah. He wasn't being a bully. He wasn't being a bully. Now, at first I thought that, and I actually rewound it and I watched it properly. And he basically, because of the trauma that he's pretending doesn't exist and everything that's gone on, someone just bumped into him and he lost his shit. He wasn't being a bully. That was the one thing that tipped him over the edge and made him lash out. But he wasn't actually being a bully. That was him getting to the end of his tether and some of his trauma exploding just in the wrong direction. So I do have to disagree with you on him being a bully again.
I'll say I'll have to watch it a third time then, because I said that both times that was I was bullied a lot, so that was my first place my brain went to. This
is why I rewound it, because I'm just like, whoa, that was a little bit random. And so I rewound it and I watched it again, like very intently. And yeah, he was just, I think he was looking for a way, like subconsciously, I think he was looking for a fight. I think he was looking for a way to get out his trauma in the most stupidest way possible
Hmm.
and have an argument with someone or a physical fight just to release some of that pent up grief
Oh.
and anger. But I don't think it was him being a bully. It was just, you know, someone bumped into him that day and he just lost his shit.
You know, I'd have to agree with you on that, because yeah, there are times, most recently today, just the smallest little thing, I just I lost it. And say, but the reverse is true. When I was driving to pick up a customer this morning, where this person was honking at me from behind because I was going too slow, even though it's a pothole riddled road. I'm not going to do 30 miles an hour on a pothole riddled road, because that's going to fuck up my suspension. But once I made my turn right, they revved around me, cut in front of me, slammed on the brakes, and they'd cut over 2 lanes and went on the freeway. I just like, what the frick is their problem? And say, just that little slowness tipped them over the edge to go full Incredible Hulk on the road against me.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we all have those days where we allow things to get on top of us, and you know, somebody says or does the wrong thing and we just explode. It's something that every single person on the face of this planet has done or will do in their lives, sometimes more than once. I am guilty of it. I'm sure you three are as well. And you know, it just happens sometimes, especially when you're dealing with a very deep level of trauma and you don't know how to process it. And sometimes it's because you're not ready to accept that this has gone on. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to pretend that it didn't happen, but on the flip side of that, you know that it has. And you know, so I think that is what was going on with Darren. Because for the rest of the episode, he actually wasn't too bad. He had his moments where it was maybe a little bit clipped and abrupt, but I think everybody, you know, nobody was themselves in this episode.
Yeah, because the kids were, I mean, they're a bunch of first year cadets, and they were thrown in a situation that they were neither prepared nor trained to handle. So it's like they were thrown into the fire without warning or provocation. So they weren't ready. What's that?
Nova Squad. Or was it Red Squad? Can't remember.
Both.
Now. They're on the crew with the cadet ship.
No,
Valiant.
Yeah, that was Red Squad.
It's nice. Yeah,
Red Squad.
Talk about that was being thrown into the fire.
Yeah.
And
but
they
also,
you know that what?
You also have to consider their ages as well.
Yeah.
You know, they're not fully emotionally developed, and you know that their hormones are raging at that age as well. So you do have to take that into account. And when you take young adults who are going through their own like emotional and hormonal changes, and you know, like dealing with things internally, questioning life, throw in that kind of trauma, honestly, they're handling it very well, in my opinion. And it obviously the Academy has done something for them in order for them to have handled it so well. But I think because of their, I mean, nobody handles anything that well, you know, but especially with the level of emotional maturity they are at, it's even more difficult for them to process and understand exactly what's gone on. How should they feel? What should they be doing? You know, should they be wandering around the halls crying? Should they be getting on with their lives? You know, should they just move on and forget about it like it didn't happen? You know, all of those
Vulcan would.
questions.
The Vulcan cadets would. They know
Yeah,
how to
but Vulcans are
express
dickheads.
Oh no, they're not. I love Vulcans.
I love
they are
Vulcans as well, but they're still dickheads.
they are the epitome of the used to be the Federation before
Superiority complex.
Huh?
A superiority
Superiority.
complex.
Oh, of course. It comes with logic. Logic dictates all.
Yeah, but you know, you can still be logical without being an arsehole.
Well, they don't think they're being an asshole. Everyone else thinks they're being an asshole.
That's true.
Exactly. That is
They're just
called
being factually
arrogance.
correct.
But
the amount of times that the Vulcans have been wrong on things because of their superior logic, I'm sorry, but no. No.
Well, that kind of ties into something that I want to bring up towards the end of this episode, because I had an idea for what to do next after we're done with Starfleet Academy, where to jump to for the next episode. But I came across an article that online today that's like, that would be a good episode to talk about. So we'll put a cork in that and talk about that later. But back to the episode at hand. It's just like that Aki called up Lieutenant Tilly to teach the kids theater, which that's one of the reasons why I want to rewatch Discovery, because because of that, because to kind of like relearn the Tilly story a little bit more. But the fact that she's I remember that she was being put in charge of training cadets. Was it not Starfleet Academy when she was teaching? Because she's teaching a bunch of third years in the Beta Quadrant. So third years of what? So there had to be a Starfleet Academy. If this is the first new class of Starfleet Academy, what are these third years of the class of? Is it a war college or war college offshoot?
I was wondering the same thing. I was like, wait, what? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, so I gotta watch at least season 3, 4, and 5. Well, 3 and 4 Discovery again to just kind of relearn that again.
You see, I absolutely adore Tilly, and she
me
was
too.
absolutely the correct person to deal with the cadets, regardless of whether she's been teaching or not, because Tilly is very emotional, but she can also be very firm. And I mean, not in the beginning. She was very jittery and everything, but because of everything that she went through on the Discovery and what she had to deal with, she very quickly grew into herself, and she became one of my favorites in Discovery. I mean, she is like my Star Trek wife. But she is adorable. I love her. Her hair is to die for. And she has such a bubbly personality, but also she can be very motherly as well. Firm but fair. And I mean, I could see her being a mother, and this is why she was absolutely the correct person to deal with the cadets.
Is she actually a mother in real life, the actress?
I'm not sure.
There's been time because there's been a couple of scenes where she's actually put on the pounds after because she had a child. So in real life, so yeah, she if I remember rightly, she does have a child in real life, had a husband.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think she does.
I don't know.
Or they're separated now because she came out as trans or something now.
No, I think that's a different
I'm sure
actor from
no, that
was she had a child.
I don't know. She's got kids or not.
She's got 2 kids.
2 kids. There we go. Yeah. There we go. I knew she did.
But yeah, she is a wonderful character to bring back. I love her. I've always loved their relationship with Jet as well.
Oh yeah,
they
it's
are
okay.
like the complete opposites. You know, like Jet Reno is just, she tells it as it is. She doesn't give a damn. She's like really heavy with the sarcasm. She's quite emotionally detached, and yet Tilly is the complete opposite. But together they are just so good, and I've always loved scenes with those two in when they're interacting, because it's lovely to see, because like Tilly brings something out in people, and this is why she was absolutely the best person to deal with the cadets.
Yeah, and the way the cuddles with Reno, just like it's okay to love. And just the
Exactly.
delivery on that was just so Tilly.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, she can get Jet to smile. She can do anything.
Yeah, not to mention there was no Laura in this episode at all. Not even like.
No, I wonder where she is.
Well, maybe she just needed a week off from the prosthetics. The actress,
maybe,
or the actress might have had another commitment that she couldn't make it for that episode.
Very true. Very true.
See, the fun things that we figure out is it's like, oh, we should have looked that up. Why is she not here?
I was actually quite gutted not to see Kyle in this episode. Because I have a little bit of a soft spot for him, like I do with Jaden, and together those two were just so cute.
Well, he was off screen taking care of Jaden with his quarantining and all that.
Yeah, that's what I like to think.
But yeah, just like the Reno Tilly together, just like we're the women time forgot. Just kind of a callback to the fact that they're from hundreds of years ago.
Absolutely.
But with the episode, I'm looking at my notes. Just that, like, Sam totally has ADHD. Just her, but I guess some of it. We'll have to wait and see what happens, how she acts in this next episode. But then again, she's a kid of 209 days old. Of course, the kid's going to be all hyperactive and jumpy and jittery and just like, oh, everything's cool, everything's rainbow and unicorns, la la la. But yeah, Sage, she's just total, like, yay, everything. And how she was hiding her
like a toddler.
Oh yeah, but how she was hiding her glitches to Genesis in their quarters earlier. But when she has a major glitch out in the classroom, that of course everyone jumping, wondering what the heck's going on. And the doc. It's interesting that the doctor said that the patch that we use is not working. Why didn't you come to me sooner? Why didn't you tell me that you're having these problems? It's like, well, dude, you're the reason why she didn't, because you were a dick to her in the first episode when she was only 90 days old. This is like, I'm nobody's mentor. And say, so when you have a hero complex for someone and they shoot you down, that's the last person that I'm going to go to if something like that ever happened. So I feel a sense of shame and guilt to thinking, should I tell him? Should I not? It's like,
Yeah, she felt, and especially with her not having a childhood and growing up, and her basically having the psychology of a toddler, you know, that kind of rejection would have hit hard. And it's like I was saying earlier about the cadets in general, that their level of emotional development, Sam's is much lower than theirs. And because of that, her matrix, her mind, her soul wouldn't know how to process something so traumatic. So
it-
it's not surprising.
Oh, and kind of tying in earlier episode is that when they were in the simulation with fighting against the war college, is that she's impermeable. All the weapons just go right through her. And then on the Miyazaki, the fury weapons are something that she's not accustomed to, and it just hit her, and she was down for the count, and that started her glitching. So that's what her mind was thinking. Oh, it's just residual ionization for whatever from the weapons fire. When it turns out to be more than that, is saying it's a defect. Say her creators didn't expect her to deal with all these situations and all that, and it goes for a bit of a loop for her.
Do you know what? I know this is going to sound really silly, but it kind of reminds me of what happened to Seven. Because her cortical node prevented her from experiencing above a certain level of emotion. And that's kind of sort of with what was explained in this episode. Basically, even though it was a little bit different, with Sam's level of emotional maturity that she hasn't been able to deal with any of this, and it's made her glitch, and it basically killed her. And the way Seven's cortical node, well, all the cortical nodes were designed is basically that drone reaches a certain level of emotion, they start to shut down because that's not allowed. So I kind of see the similarities between what happened with Seven and what happened with Sam in this episode.
I missed that.
Guys, I'm gonna have to leave now and try to see if I can get some sleep. My pain meds are starting to kick in now, so.
All right, well, you do well, man.
All right, mate. All right,
Thanks for stopping by.
Shame I couldn't produce, contribute more, but I don't watch it, so all I can do is just give you some.
But yeah, just hang out. Like, okay, yeah.
Other things, like the two cheeks of the same arsehole. Sort of
I think we're just about. We got 2 more episodes, or 1 more.
After 2 more episodes.
2 more episodes.
9 and 10.
9 and 10, yeah. So we'll be on different subjects in 3 weeks.
All right, guys, you take care of yourself. All right, have a good one. Enjoy yourselves.
Peace out.
Bye.
Night.
All right.
Alrighty, so that kind of
real quick, Dave. When I was watching Sean Fair, he said that the A plot was the cadets, and the B plot was the Sam, and he said that they should have just flipped that. He said they spent the way he was talking about. He said that they spent way too long, and he was talking about just the whole thing getting to Kasq and everything else and stuff, and even the creator, whatever the creator is and stuff and everything, even said y'all did this to her, not us. We sent y'all. She was our emissary in a sense. She was stuff like that, and y'all basically effed her up, and they couldn't fix her and stuff and everything else, and it was like, oh, so this was the organics' fault, not saying it was, but I guess they were blaming all organics for, what happened to her and stuff. I'm like, yeah, she kind of.
But they eventually admitted
she was kind of put in situations. Huh?
They eventually admitted, though, and they even said we failed her too.
Yep.
They did own up to that, and it was only after the doctor pointed it out and backed up by Nala. And I really liked the time dilation thing.
It's not the first time that they've dealt with time dilations too. So like it's a blink of an eye.
Exactly. And
What
you know,
what was the
there's a lot of
other?
time dilation going on in my world at the
Yeah.
minute. But no,
Oh,
I did like that aspect of it, and the fact that the Doctor was able to save Sam's life by bringing her up as his daughter for like 17 years in like, you know, the space
2
of
weeks.
2 weeks. You know, it was lovely, and those little scenes with them right from her being a baby, wasn't she a cute baby?
But
She was adorable.
that being said, though, just like the way that they were able to intertwine the A plot and the B plot with the play, kind of mirroring what Sam was dealing with and what Tarima and Caleb were dealing with. The play was a central focus into all of it, so that does deserve to be the A plot, in
Oh,
my opinion.
absolutely. I mean, that play, I mean, I've you know, it at first I was like a little bit, but as the episode went on, I understood why the writers chose that play to integrate it into this episode, because it's like the Doctor said, it starts and ends in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's life.
Oh,
You know,
and when the maker said, "Yep, she's done. She's being deactivated," fade to black, end scene.
yeah.
See that was a great bit on the part of the producers of the episode.
Yeah, the lighting in this episode was pristine. It was beautiful.
It mirrored the play.
Yeah. And I understand. I really do. And can't get my words out. I'm still really emotional from watching the episode. I mean, I still had tears in my eyes when we were backstage earlier. Because I'd literally just finished watching the episode, like what, 30 minutes before we went live. But what Tamira was dealing with as well, she blames herself for so much. And yeah, people were shocked to see her back, but I think they were more shocked to see her in an academy uniform than a war college one. And I understand why they sent her to the academy rather than back to the war college. I don't think that it's wholly fair, but I understand why. But also, she, by the sounds of it, from what I've picked up, because of how people have treated her all her life, because of her unique and advanced abilities, she has been in some way feared all her life. And that's why she was given the inhibitor, but also she's afraid of herself. And it makes me wonder, and you know, if that is the case, I don't know if I'm projecting something here, but if that's the case, this unique ability that she's got, what we saw in last week's episode, not last week, the week before on the Miyazaki, maybe if everybody and her stopped being scared of it, and if she was to fully accept who and what she is, maybe it wouldn't be a problem anymore.
Hopefully, we get some level of resolution with how this story arc is starting to go by the season finale. And actually, technically, next week's going to be the season finale since episode 9 airs in about what time is it?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, say in about 5 hours is when the next episode releases, roughly. Which reminds me, before I forget, here in North America, we are springing forward an hour Saturday night. So Katie, it's going to be an hour earlier for you for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we always spring forward. Well, technically it's early hours Sunday morning. But it's
But not for
always
another
the
month.
last. No, it's the last Sunday in March.
Oh, so only 3 weeks then.
Yeah, it's the last Sunday in March, and then it's also the like when we put the clocks back, it's always the last Sunday in October.
Mm. It's the first Sunday November for us. So
Yeah.
It's an extra month. But all saying, and I had a pop up on my phone because I still follow a lot of the news, social medias in Seattle, that British Columbia has voted to adopt year-round daylight saving time. So when they spring forward here this weekend, they're not falling back ever again.
I really wish that the whole world would stop. I really do. I really wish that the whole world would stop and we just stick to one time. Because it messes with people's circadian rhythms. I mean, mine's already screwed, but because I very rarely sleep, but it does mess with people's equilibrium.
Oh, yeah, and it's affected me a little more since moving here to Colorado, but yeah, it's still been a way of life ever since I was a kid. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's always. I mean, before my insomnia started screwing me over, like twice a year, when we change the clocks, it's not good. It really isn't, and people just need to stop. But anyway, we digress.
Yeah, back to the episode. The cadets, they're still figuring everything out with the play, with the doctor and Nala and Sam going to Kasq to try and figure out what the heck's gone on wrong with her, is saying they don't give a rat's ass about the play. They want, all they care about is their friend, which kind of goes against what Tilly's trying to teach him, which we learn by the end of the episode. It's like, this is a way of life. This is helping you deal with that trauma. You got to talk about it. You can't keep it bottled up. You can't keep it to yourself. I mean, that's my time with AA is definitely one of those things. You can't keep it bottled up. See,
yeah,
I lost a friend in the rooms to suicide last week. I almost lost another one over the weekend. It sucks.
It does.
But yeah, saying that's what I initially watched this on that Thursday or Friday. I can't remember. No, I did watch it on Thursday, and then I found out about what happened. I won't name names, but we'll call him Steve. Found out on Friday that Steve passed away. Found out on Tuesday. I won't describe how it happened. It hurts, but yeah, watching this episode again today before the show, it definitely hit me at a different level.
Yeah, and I understand. I've lost people to suicide, and in the last few years, I've lost a lot of people in my life, including my father. And you know, I mean that hit me a lot harder than I expected. But keeping things in is very unhealthy. And okay, yeah, fair enough. When a lot of people ask, "Oh, how are you?" I just give my usual, "I'm alive," or "I got through this week without stabbing anybody with a fork," and I will joke about it, but a lot of the time, if I've had a really rough time with my insomnia, if I've been going through a lot with family, losing friends, family, when they've passed away, sometimes you just have to blurt it out and like, no, I'm not doing okay. I am not coping right now. And it's one thing that needs to be more acceptable, because the way society is at the moment, people don't want to talk about trauma. Talking about feelings and trauma and everything, it's still such a taboo thing. Just like mental health is, speaking about mental health, and it needs to be addressed, because people go through things, and everybody needs to let it out sometimes, because it builds up and builds up. And that's one of the reasons I love this episode so much, because that is a very big message in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to some degree, life does go on when we lose people, but we still need to take that time, and we need to look after ourselves as well at all times of the day and night. We need someone to talk to. We need someone to be there to hold our hand. We need somebody to ask if we're okay and accept if we say no, I'm struggling to cope, and not to be turned away. That is a very powerful message from this episode.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, with the play with Tarima, it just like, it's all with Sam. It's all the writers of this episode did a spectacular job in just interweaving it almost perfectly.
Oh, it was seamless. The way that they were switching back and forth was quite powerful, actually. And I mean, I can't remember his name. I really can't. Is it
Durham again?
Okram? No, is it Okram?
Kelrec?
No, the really quiet one who was was he the stage
Akram?
manager? Yeah, Okram, that's it.
Yeah, not knowing the play is that's the stage manager role. That's one that just kind of with my head a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. But when they were sat talking, when they were talking about Sam, the way he just got up and started reading the lines and started doing the play, and everyone was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he just carried on, and then
The show must
Jaden
go
stood
on.
up, and yeah, Jaden stood up, and then one by one, but they all did it, and eventually Tarima joined them. After a while, she didn't leave, and the things she said as well, you know, that it was done so beautifully. It really was.
Well, get better, Phil.
I am sending you so much healing, my witches usual.
Take care, Phil. Be safe. I'll
Well,
message
he's going just be sit back listening, which you can do with Spotify when I get my button gear and actually get those on there. The links down below, as well as the Discord link to jump in, and so we can you can talk about stuff like this backstage and interact with us backstage when we're not on the air. And then, of course, there's still seven slots available for you to hop in if you want to pop on camera or just on audio, just what you thought about the episode, what you liked, what you didn't like. And of course, the big one, like and subscribe. We've got 2 new subscribers this week, so it's very, very slowly going up. Hopefully things will start changing here in the coming weeks, in the coming months. But yeah.
Very helpful.
But kind of backpedaling a little bit, how Sam just kept on pushing the doctor's buttons. And it's just like, didn't you do this? Didn't you do that? And the doctor is just like, don't talk to me, turn away. He keeps on retreating from her. Whenever she puts out the olive branch, he retreats. He's like, get away. But again, finding out that the trauma that he was experiencing, like I said, I thought he was retreating because he lost Janeway, he lost Seven. It was his daughter that he lost in the holodeck in that 3rd season episode, Real Life. It just like that was like, holy frack! That was. Then it's kind of like a sixth sense sort of thing where your brain just starts to backpedal. So it makes sense. All the signs were there, and we just didn't see it up front. So that was a moment in my head.
I mean, I went through all the possibilities, and I've been going through all the possibilities of why the Doctor is so different in Academy. And then when it became evident that he was dealing with some form of trauma, I went through everything. And
that was not one of the things?
Yes, it was.
Oh.
It was one of the things. And I don't know that there was something, because like I said, I've recently done a full rewatch of Voyager in the last few months, and that episode is very difficult for me to watch.
Yeah, it's not high on my rewatch list, honestly. I mean, after seeing this episode, I'll probably my next rewatch I'm going to watch it again. But Real Life, that's one that I usually skip because it hits the heart a little too hard for me.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be very choosy about when I watch that. But that is one of the things that I did consider, because of how childlike Sam is, it was a consideration for me that it could have something to do with him basically losing his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And that it is. I mean, it was beautiful that the way that his memories played out when like after Sam had basically died, and his trauma just spilled out for all to see, and the reaction from Nala as well, because I don't think she knew about that.
No, I don't think so either.
You know, it was devastatingly beautiful. And I Oh, I was a mess. I'm getting really emotional talking about it. But yeah, I was an absolute wreck. And that was one of the places I had to pause it so that I could calm down. And I'm just like, the show's going to be starting like really soon. I've got to get this watched. And I finished watching it at like 1:30. And it's like, damn it, the show's in half an hour. I need to get my anti-homicide juice. I need to get my PC turned on. I need to dry my eyes and look somewhat presentable. And, you know, and yeah, it was a very difficult episode.
Oh, and I forgot to make note of the one thing I put in my notes, of course, retroactive note, just like the key scene in all this when the pieces started to fall into place was when the makers were wanting to scan Sam to see what's wrong with her, and she asked the doc. I mean, she was so freaking scared out of her mind, and she wanted the doctor to hold her hand, and the doctor refused. The pain in her face, tears coming down out of her eyes, is just like, oh my god, this poor girl. And say she just felt the ultimate rejection from someone she looked up to. Her hero denied her. The person that she looked up to the most to achieve to be turned her away. It just
but also,
it was
the doctor as well. Jesus Christ, I am so sorry.
It's all good. You're allowed to be emotionally compromised on this show.
I'm usually really put together. I'm usually the one that doesn't cry. And
my foot's asleep.
But you know, the doctor as well, he was forcing himself not to cry. Mm-hmm. You could see the pain in his face, and that's when I knew. That is when I knew that it was all because of his daughter. Yeah, it tore me apart, even just talking about it now. Jesus Christ. I do apologize to our viewers. I really do. Oh, I think that's the first time I've actually cried on the show. But yeah, like I said, I only just watched the episode straight before the show, so it was very fresh in my mind. Oh, thank you. I don't usually get out of control emotionally. But yeah, that's a point. I haven't done my meditations today, so that'll probably be one of the reasons why I'm so emotional. But no, you could see the pain on the doctor's face. He so wanted to take her hand. He just wouldn't allow himself, and I think it's because he didn't want himself to break. I think that if he did take her hand, it'd have been too much for him. And, you know, he didn't want to happen what did happen. But in the end, when his mental barriers came down and his trauma was released, it was the best thing for him. And it was the same with the cadets as well. You know, when they allowed themselves to say, look, we're not okay, and I'm sick and tired of pretending that I am, you know, it did them the world of good, and it was exactly what they all needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. What are your thoughts, Travis?
Yeah, because you've been unusually quiet tonight, man. So if we've been talking too much, we're sorry.
Just plain and simple for me. This episode lacked any emotional resonance for me. I mean, it was to me another here, and everything. Young people dealing with blah blah blah. That's life. Get on with it. For me, I'm not one to hold hands, say kumbaya, and all this other stuff. Usually, if I deal with something, I deal with my own way. I don't try to seek out and everything else and all that other stuff and everything else and what they was trying to do. It almost kind of felt kind of pukey at times when I was like, oh my God. They like Tarima, she was like, don't you see what she's trying to do? I'm like, thank you. That's what I'm talking about. She's trying to get you to do this and stuff like that. And y'all not seeing it and y'all playing right into her hand, into Tilly's hand. I'm sitting there like, oh my goodness, this is, I mean, you guys are like babies. And, I know y'all need to grow up and all and everything else, but geez. Like I said, this episode just didn't it like any emotional resonance for me, anything. Just to me, it, it was cool to see where Sam came from, the planet or Kasq and all the other stuff and the technical things, stuff like that. But you know, uh, I just think it was just I think they wrote this episode just to they wrote this episode just to make they really
Yeah.
wrote this episode to make people cry. And it's like, oh, come on, are we gonna say kumbaya and getting this stuff and everything? I want to get to action. I want to get to some fight scenes. I want to get to when I mean, this is, I'm like, where's the problem solving of getting into a hairy situation and stuff and everything else? I'm sitting there like,
Do you know what? It's not often I say this. It is not often I say this because I am very, very gender neutral in my assessments of people. But that is a very typical male response that you have just given, darling. And how can I put this without sounding horrible?
Just say it.
I love you, and I wouldn't want you any other way. Sometimes you really are the stereotypical, like typical male in your responses. Anything emotional, and you're just like, oh, well, I deal with this like this, and and it's just like, oh, holy crap, where's your gay gene gone? And sometimes I'm just like, why? Because you are such a lovely soul. You are such a beautiful soul. And yet sometimes you can be such a man. And it's not often I go down this route. That is not often I go down this route because I hate stereotyping in any way, but sometimes your responses are very stereotypical male. And I'm just like, darling, you need to like pick back up your gay gene and put it back in, yeah. Because at the end of the day,
I was raised in a different way, in a different mindset when I come to when I look at a lot of things and how I view a lot of things. Like when I played sports, I did this. I had like guy friends. I had the straight guy friends, and I did a lot of the things. In a sense, as you were saying, like straight things, stuff like that. So my mindset comes in the sense of where I'm a male first, before I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm gay, but yeah, I'm thinking I'm a male first, and this is something that I'm like, I'm not gonna call myself programmed to be, but I had molded myself
Oh no,
into a
darling,
way.
that's exactly what has happened to you. You have been programmed to be like that. I'm sorry, but you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, we're not friends anymore, but he was one of my best friends for years. And he was, do you know what? He was such an well, he probably still is, but he's such an emotional person. And yet he gives the stereotypical male responses. You know, like, oh, what you crying for? It's only a movie. Oh, what you crying for? It's only a book. Oh, it's only a TV series. And I'm just like, do you have feelings? And then one of my friends, Louise, you know, she is one of the most bubbly people you could ever met. She actually kind of reminds me of Sam a little bit.
You mention her a lot, Louise.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, she sounds like a 12-year-old girl on helium, but she is so beautiful. She is such a beautiful soul. And yet she has never cried to a movie, never cried reading a book. And things will happen, and she's just like, I'll be right. And I'm just like, whoa, hold on a minute. Have you got no feelings at all, love? And yet she cries to one song. And I'm just like, hold on a minute. Do you like take your emotions out and put them over there sometimes? Do you know, have you got like an emotion chip in your brain, like data? And I've actually asked her these questions, and she's just like, oh, well, you know, I am just how I am. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but one minute you can be so emotional, and then the next minute it's just like you're like, nope. You just take your emotions out and put them to a side, and I'm like, what is going on in the world? You know,
going on is I got.
Go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
What's going on is I got a really good microphone if it picked up my little dainty burp as well as it came across on, at least on Dylan's end of things. It's like,
yeah, I wouldn't score it that high. I'd score it about a 7.5. But you know,
my apologies, everybody. It's I didn't have time to get the mute button. I was like, it's not going to be that bad, and obviously it was. So I am sorry, everybody.
Well, I was saying in general for this particular episode stuff and everything, I see everybody, you know, they're going through their, you know, as Katie, you know, you say their emotional trauma and everything, because you feel what other people feel and stuff and everything else. You're just a feeling person. You just seem like you just instantly you just see somebody, you just like them and everything else. And it's like there's not one person in this episode, or not episode, but in this series that, well, Noose Brocker. I can say Noose Brocker. You know, you don't like him, but
no, it was a misogynistic pig.
And he plays it well.
He does. He really does.
Paul Giamatti, he really do and stuff and everything.
And I think he's going to be back next week too. So
I think so too, because I think we're going to reveal too. You know, because he says stay tuned because he got something in mind for Nala and the rest of them and everything else. I think Caleb's going to be a central part of it too and everything. But no, this particular episode, in a sense for me, that I see, you know, I see how, you know, everybody, you know, like you say, they deal with their own trauma and everything else, and you know, it's supposed to be emotional and everything else. For me, in a sense, I look at this and I'm thinking, okay, you guys, but this is one thing. I mean, they brought somebody in to help them, you know, counsel them and everything else and stuff. But it's like, look, you know, bad things happen. You know, let me give you an example. I believe it was in TNG episode. Oh shoot, what was it? It was season 2. It was it was season 2. Q Who. Now, do you guys remember when the Enterprise encountered the Borg? This was the first time the Enterprise encountered the Borg, and they had a new, you know, graduate from the academies. You know, her name was
Sonia Gomez.
Sonia Gomez. Sonia Gomez was new and stuff. LaForge was kind of giving her, you know, the like, hey, look, you know, we're gonna be, you know, this. She was like, I want to be the first out here. I want to see this and this, and she was so excited and everything, and she was just like, you know, and as the episode went on, everybody saw when the ship came up against the Borg, and the Borg basically sliced the
Hard-
whole of the saucer section and stuff and everything. As they was like 18 people went missing and stuff. So before his job, his team, the engineers and stuff, they was trying to, you know, assess the damage, trying to get power and stuff and everything, shields and stuff and everything. Well, in the same time, the Force was just telling her, "Hey, look, you know, we'll deal with it later. You know, you got to put it aside. We got to get these shields, you know, these shield generators online and stuff and whatnot and everything else and stuff." And all of a sudden, she said, "No, Jordy, I can't do that. You know," he like, "Sonya, stop it." He said, "We'll talk about it later, but yet we got to focus on, you know, their task at hand and stuff." She was like breaking down and stuff like that. And of course, she was new out of the academies and stuff and everything else. But like, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, she was just fresh and new, but yet she couldn't understand and cope with, you know, hey, look, you know, these guys they have done this before, LaForge and the others and stuff and everything else. She said, "I don't know how you guys, you know, deal with it," but he said, "We deal with it in our own way, but yet, you know, we focus on, you know, our task at hand and stuff and everything else." And that just brings back to what I'm saying is like seeing how in such a way that, well, you can say experienced older people who can deal with, you know, trauma and stuff and everything. They have a better grip at, you know, saying, "Look, you know, yeah, sad and stuff and everything else." They're not going to be crying about it, you know, hugging kumbaya and everything else and stuff. But they do it in their own fashion, in their own way and stuff, behind closed doors, you know, and stuff. Because in Starfleet, it's a command structure, and you know, when you are as you are, you know, in line, or you know, you are in charge of those below you and stuff and everything else, and you have to oversee. One thing is, you know, you can't let people who you know, you command to see you, in a sense, to see you break down and stuff and everything, because they're gonna start questioning, "Oh man, you know, my commanding officer is, in a sense, losing it." You know, you want you want to look up to someone, in a sense, to say, "Hey, you know, they understand that, you know, there's some hard stuff that happened, but you know, they are able to, you know, move through it in a very dignified, rational manner and stuff and everything else." And it seemed like, you know, these cadets right now are getting the hard lesson at that. They got it too early in their, you know, doing their, you know, time at the academy and stuff like that. But yet these are the life lessons hard when you get out there and start, you know, it's like, you know, you're going to face this stuff like that. Either, you know, you break down and you're going to be emotional about it, or if you're going to just try to, you know, understand and cope with it and be like, "You know what? Life moves on. Let's move on to the next star system. Let's go on to everything else," you know.
Harriman.
You okay, Dave?
No, that was me stifling a cough. Harriman Generations.
Yeah.
He was kind of he was not wholly prepared to be captain of the Enterprise, and just like,
no, he
say,
was not. Yeah, John Harriman. Yeah.
Can I just weigh in here, please, my sweet?
Uh-oh.
Please.
Do you know how I was saying earlier that, you know, everybody needs to vent, it needs to be more of an accepted thing that people are allowed to say to friends, even co-workers that they're close to, "No, I'm not doing okay. But, you know, I'm carrying on. I'm trying to deal with things the best I can, but I am not okay." What I was saying earlier, I just want to take you back, like several hundred years before this episode. Star Trek First Contact. The amount of years that Jean-Luc buried his trauma, what happened with the Borg, and also in Generations losing his family, all of those years, he buried his trauma. He carried it very stoically because he was the captain, and he had to be strong for his crew. He nearly got his entire crew killed in the past because he would not deal with his trauma, and it was screwing with his brain. And it wasn't until a complete stranger, Lily, had the balls to confront him about it.
It was Worf who confronted
And
him. He called him out.
Well, not exactly, but
Well, Worf called him out on a bridge and said, "You let
yeah,
your
well,
personal feelings affected your clouding your judgments." You know,
yeah,
and he was letting his personal feeling cloud his judgment and stuff like that. It's like, dude, destroyed the ship.
yeah. But
but
it wasn't until Lily stormed in there and full on confronted him, not giving a crap. She even,
Captain Ahab has to go hunt his whale.
exactly.
And that was the trigger.
You
You say,
yeah, and she forced him to confront his trauma because he'd not confronted it, he'd not dealt with it, and he ended up blowing up and destroying his little ships. And it took a complete stranger 6 years down the line to make him confront his trauma and realize what he was doing, because if he'd have carried on that path, he would have got the entire crew killed.
just like Captain Ahab.
Exactly. And I actually find it quite strange that Patrick Stewart actually played Ahab in Moby Dick. But that is what it took for him to confront his trauma, nearly getting his crew killed, and a complete stranger squaring up to him, and him completely blowing up. That is what happens when you don't deal with trauma. That is what happens when, you don't talk. I know from personal experience, believe me. And that's the musical comedy version of it. But, the fact that he was a fully grown adult, he'd gone through the academy, he'd had this training how to deal with things, he'd had life experience, and yet he dealt with things so shit, considering what these kids have been through. And they've only just started at the academy. They've had no training. They've had no what-if experiences. And yet they suffered that level of trauma so early on. And at their age, not being funny about, but they were handling things a lot better than Jean-Luc. Because they were still interacting. They were still friends, even though things were very strained. They were still carrying on. They were still getting things done, and yet fair enough, it took them calling Tilly in, and doing this play, but they showed their maturity by dealing with things and speaking about things, rather than doing what Tamira said. She was trying to pretend that it wasn't happening. She didn't want to confront it, just like Jean-Luc. And yet, if she'd have carried on going down that route, there's a very good chance, because of her enhanced abilities, that her neural inhibitor wouldn't have worked. Or it could have shot it out or something.
Which kind of spins back to something that I wrote down in my notes that we didn't talk about before, is the scene where Tamira called Caleb into the atrium while she was shit-faced drunk, and Caleb did not take advantage of her. He actually said, "You're drunk. Let's talk again when you're sober."
Yeah, and now that, I have a lot of respect for Caleb for that. A hell of a lot of respect. Because
I mean, he totally has the hots for her. He's trying to reconnect with her after coming back from her traumatic experience, and the one opportunity that he really has a chance to connect with her, she's drunk off her ass, and he said no.
Yeah, and I commend him for that. I really do. And I've always had a lot of respect for Caleb, but after this episode, my respect for him has grown so high, because it was very gentlemanly, but it was also a very mature thing to do.
Well,
And I mean, I think
he's grown a lot. He's grown a lot over the course of 8 episodes.
He has, and I think after this episode, they're all going to grow in leaps and bounds.
Well,
because they know that they can speak to each other about what's gone on. That they all know that each other is going through some stuff, that they're struggling to deal with it. Everything that's happened, and I think it's going to pull them all closer together.
I don't know. Like I said, it just this episode it fell flat for me, in a sense. It really fell.
Really?
It fell flat and stuff. I don't even know much to say and stuff. It's like I watched it. I was a little entertained, but I wasn't over the moon. Like, oh my goodness and stuff. And it just fell flat and stuff and everything. I don't know. I'm just waiting to the season finale and stuff and everything else, because I'm wanting to see what's the good stuff and everything, because I want to see some death. I want to see somebody die. And for some reason, I got the name that somebody's going to die, and I want to see it. Just to shake things up and stuff. I want to see. Well, we've seen one guy, Bobby, and the other the guy from the War College and stuff like that. But like, how fast can they start killing off some of the main characters and stuff and everything else? I want to see that. That's what I want to see. How quickly they can get rid of them and stuff in a good way.
Well, the synopsis for next week's episode, well, unless there's anything either you wanted to add to it.
Katie put that out her ear. She said she don't want to hear it. Dave, she put it out her ear.
Nope.
Can I put my ear back in?
Yeah. He ain't gonna talk. He ain't gonna talk about it. I guess. No.
Well, you're gonna have to take it out again in a moment, but not yet. But I was saying, was there anything else that either of you wanted to add, or anyone that's still watching, to say thanks again? Hit that like and subscribe button so you can stay up to date. Is there anything that you guys want to chime in on this before we close it out and talk about next week's / the episode that's airing in just a couple hours?
So funny, I was watching Sean Ferrick, and Sean made a comment too. It's just one of the little things that I even noticed. He said, "Did y'all notice when in the shuttle? I believe they was taking the shuttle to Kasq, and the warp effect. It almost they said somehow the Star Trek, the Star Trek, the latest Star Trek stuff had mirrored almost the effect that you see in Star Wars." When they go through hyperspace, they say it's kind of almost like what you see in like when they go into the hyperdrive and hyperspace and stuff and everything. He's like, it's kind of almost similar but not similar, but it gets that way of showing that it doesn't feel. He said it doesn't kind of quite feel like the traditional Star Trek that we of the warping effect and stuff and everything. He said it just kind of feel almost Star Wars-y and stuff like that. I thought that was a pretty little interesting thing, because I never even thought of that. I was like, Star Wars, okay.
Yeah,
I looked at it. I was like, go ahead.
Yeah, see, I miss the old school, like Next Gen, DS9, Warp Effect, just simple, easy, piece of cake. But they got to go all super fancy and stuff because of HD and all that, blah blah blah. I don't know if you guys.
I like it all.
You like it all?
Yeah, I'm not judgy. I look at everything objectively, and yeah, I like it all.
Yeah, but Phil said he might pop in on audio, and there he is.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Phil. Thanks for popping in.
Hey there, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you fine.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so I was fine earlier today, and it just slowly as the day went on, this just sort of came over me. I don't know if it's like I'm hoping it's not a migraine, but man, it just light has just started like irritating me, and I just felt
Yeah, if light's irritating you, it's probably a migraine.
migraine. I haven't had
But,
one in like ages, but
yeah, what am I? Oh God.
I
No. Sorry, I just gotta say that one of my friends online was say that he was experiencing a migraine for the first time in his life,
Hmm.
and then a couple hours later, he posted on his Facebook that his mom passed away.
Jesus.
oh geez.
I'm gonna have to check in with him and see, was this migraine before or after you found out what happened? Because if it happened before he found out his mom passed, I don't know, that just like the paranormal investigator
is
in me.
gone already, so I'm not.
Well, no, when you're saying migraine, it just clicked a second. I had he says the first time in ages, but it's like, yeah, this is like the first time he's he's just a couple. He's not that. He's just a little bit younger than me, and he's never had one, and I've had at least a couple of dozen migraines in my life.
Yeah, I got my first migraine September 2011, and I still have it now. It is not episodic. It is permanent. I am permanently light sensitive. I constantly feel like literally 24/7, like I have got somebody in there with an ice pick. I get shooting pains through my temples. That feels like, do you know the episode of Voyager?
Scientific Method.
Yeah, Scientific Method, when Janeway's got all the needles in. That is how I feel 24/7, and my scalp is tender constantly because of it. So I live with, when I say a permanent migraine, I mean permanent. It is always there. And this light, it kills me, but it's something that I have to live with. And this is one of the reasons I don't go out all that much. I have everything on dark mode on my PC, apart from when I'm writing, because it won't go onto dark mode. But you know, I really do understand, and I would not wish a migraine on my worst enemy. I really wouldn't, because they are awful. And
I have had them before, and they are nasty, and I haven't had one in ages. They're normally actually worse than what I'm experiencing now. This is just kind of a really bad headache, but migraines, yeah, they are just, you just lie there wishing for death. They're awful.
Yeah.
I remember I remember one time having a migraine with vertigo. That was a fun day.
Yeah, it's not nice. It really isn't.
No.
I am sending you much healing, Phil.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah,
absolutely. Send more for me.
All right tomorrow.
Dylan says hi.
Hey, Dylan. I'll probably be all right tomorrow. I think after a good night's sleep, I think I'll be okay.
And drink plenty of water.
Oh yeah.
If you don't mind it, peppermint oil. Sprinkle a little bit of that around your bedroom. Peppermint oil actually can help a migraine. And also it keeps away spiders as well. So I always put peppermint oil around in my room, because it smells lovely, really refreshing, uplifting, but also it does help to keep my migraine at bay.
I have a lot of spiders, so that may be a good idea.
Yeah, and you know, I'm very arachnophobic, so it helps to keep the spiders out of my bedroom.
I never think of that.
Usually.
Yeah, that's nice. Good advice, Katie.
Well, what were some of your thoughts, Phil, on the episode that stood out for you the most?
I'll throw out two things really quick that kind of stuck out to me. I guess one of the things the first thing actually I thought was kind of amusing was the fact that what's her name came in and wanted to teach theater.
Tilly.
Tilly, thank you. which is funny because I remember about ages ago back in college, is because we took traditional animation, they had to have somebody come in and do that as well for us, and we were kind of scratching our heads, but we kind of understood the reasons. It's for different reasons even that we're taking animation. But I also thought it was kind of amusing because the first two Star Trek series, the captains were actors who were Shakespearean trained actors. So
Yes.
I don't know. That just kind of struck me as kind of amusing, that I thought. But yeah, I can kind of see why they would do that. But yeah, that stuck out in my head. I did
Was
appreciate. I did one of the things I like the storyline concerning the Doctor, and I think one of the things reasons I did like it is because it felt like this is the first episode where they had to go somewhere. They had to go to another unusual or different
world
and being to solve this issue that they had to take care of, and that the three of them went, and it was so that aspect of it I actually kind of really appreciate. They're meeting like a new alien kind of species, and that was it's the first time it really felt kind of Star Trek-ish in that aspect of the exploring the strange new worlds kind of thing. So that I kind of really appreciated in the episode. I would like to have seen actually a little more about that actually. But yeah, so overall I kind of enjoyed this one just for that aspect. But it was nice to see the Doctor kind of having a more prominent role. I really thought he was going to be more of a just a pop-in character once in a while through the series, but they've really given him a more a little bit more to chew on in the scripts. So yeah, I kind of really appreciated that.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's all.
Well, thanks for sharing, Phil. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
But now, Katie, you want to take the hearing aid out again because I'm going to talk about next week's episode.
Oh.
So next week we're getting the 300th night. So I'm wondering if that has something to do with the number of days the original number of days for Sam's activation, even though she's like now 17 years and 300 days. But Nala has to break protocol to keep her promise to Caleb about helping figure out things with his mom, because he must choose between the life he wanted and the life he's built at Starfleet Academy. So it looks like the Doctor's probably going to have another prominent role in this episode too. But the penultimate episode of the season, what's going to happen? We'll find out. Well, we'll find out. Well, those that are feeling adventurous enough will find out in a couple hours. Say me, it's probably going to be a day or two before I get to watch this episode, because I got to go get my eyes checked again with the optometrist. Probably get some better glasses, and I get to go to Denver Airport tomorrow evening. So yay for that!
Oh, cool.
Yes,
I won't be watching the next episode until
next week,
next Wednesday. Yeah. And then before the final episode, I'm going to be doing the same as what I did with Discovery and Picard. I am going to binge watch the entire series before I watch.
Sorry.
That's a cute ringtone.
It's from The Price is Right. Sorry, carry on.
But yeah, I will be binge watching all the episodes before the season finale so that I can fully catch up, because watching a series episodically like this rather than binge watching it, because of the problems that I have with my memory, I forget a hell of a lot.
But that actually helps the show as well. So you're doing, even though you got your own personal reasons for doing it, it actually helps show the numbers. The show's this show's worth renewing again, because they wrapped up season 2 last week shooting that. It's in post-production, but if they see the numbers up there, they'll renew it for a third season and hopefully a fourth season.
Yeah. Well, and I don't mind doing it.
I do not know if y'all heard about the so-called deal that happened last week with Paramount Skydance acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery for $110 billion. And they
Yeah,
are
I heard
going
about
Also,
that.
and there's a lot of people not happy. I'm hoping the deal falls through. I hope regulators do not approve of them and stuff and everything. But
Yeah, me
with that
too.
said, with that said, I know you just said that they could be approved for a third season and stuff, but like right now, David Ellison, he's the man who's in charge of Paramount Studios, Skydance Paramount, and everything else. There may be some changes. I mean, I heard some outlets say that there are gonna probably be some changes because they finished shooting, but yet he had a board meeting with I think with his board and stockholder meeting and stuff and everything as I talk about what the future of this acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery and other stuff that their IP and Star Trek and everything else. So some things might, I don't know, but also too,
well,
here's a little thing too, everybody. I've seen some outlets have made some said that Seth MacFarlane has basically said some stuff about they have been quietly writing for season 4 or the Orville.
Yes, I just
it's
read that
been
today.
yeah.
but it
It's-
hasn't been officially picked up yet. So
It hasn't been picked up,
hopefully.
but
Yeah.
his like writing team, the people they have been writing. They said they've been aggressively writing for season 4, not season 4 because was it season 4? Yeah, season 4 of Orville and stuff and everything. So that's another little plus in
Well,
science fiction fan and stuff like that.
I
But like
hope so.
right now,
well, here's the thing. Since it has been a few years since season 3, they ended it open ended for season 4, but it could be a few years down the road, so that'll explain why the actors look a little bit older from the previous season. So, I mean, people
that's
like
what they will adapt.
Bortus and Isaac, prosthetics, no problem, but
They will adapt
everyone else,
the season 4 to a more
again.
after stuff and everything else. But like those are the little things that's happening. So I'm not saying that there's going to I just seen some outlets and trades that talk about like there's no future projects right now. So some of the future any kind of project has probably been put on pause
back
because
burner, yeah.
they try to do a lot of things at Paramount, Skydance Paramount, and then this new acquisition deal that's going to take at least almost a year. But they're spending $110 billion, which Netflix backed out, said, we don't think Warner Brothers is worth that much. Y'all crazy. How y'all going to fund that? Is crazy. And they're going to be acquiring at least $76 billion in debt and stuff and everything. But needless to say, future Star Trek stuff, don't expect anything anytime soon or anything after the stuff they already got that's coming out for Strange New Worlds and season 2 of Academies.
Which by the way, Katie, you want to take your? I heard that the season 2 ends with a cliffhanger.
Really?
So
I like that.
I would expect
Okay,
that
so if
to happen
they,
eventually, so okay.
yeah, if they don't pick up a season 3, I'm going to be very upset.
David Ellison.
Is it safe for Katie to put the ears back in?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be my cue from now on, Katie. If I'm going to say something or someone's going to say something, we're going to ear out. When you're good, ear back in.
Yeah, because that is how strongly I feel about spoilers.
Yeah.
Say that what I just shared is a heck of a spoiler, but
yeah, and I love you guys for that. I really do. Yeah, it just makes me.
I give you headaches at times. I know I could give you. I don't want to say headaches because we just talk about migraines and stuff. But like sometimes you probably just want to just grab me and shake me and stuff. Like you said,
I do. But I want to grab you and shake you while I hug you. Because I love you.
Oh, real quick,
Thank
Katie,
you.
girl, Bones. I hope you get through your Criminal Minds because you got to watch the TV show Bones. I can't wait to talk to you about
Yes,
Bones.
I think I'm about halfway through season 8 of Criminal Minds at the moment.
Mm.
Season 4
Please
is
just
my
look at
favorite.
your ear. I love Dylan. I really do.
Dylan, I love
Look at
Dylan.
your ear.
Oh, for my kaiju friends out there, don't forget that Monarch Legacy of Monsters has started. So lots of Godzilla, Kong, giant monster battles in the season apparently. So I'm kind of excited for it.
Apple TV, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, on Apple TV.
Yeah, Apple TV. Good call, Phil. Yeah, some great stuff is coming up, here this year. And I'm a DC fan, real quick. I know we got it. We're gonna be ready to show up and stuff. But today they dropped HBO Max dropped a TV show called Lanterns. If you are a fan of DC, the Lantern Corps and stuff, we're getting this new James Gunn, Peter Safran DC universe with new, takes on Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and we're gonna have all these characters that we know of, stuff like that. They
Super
have
Friends
on HBO Max that's gonna be dropping. It's gonna be dropping in August, but they showed a trailer, and I am so ready for seeing some DC
Look for it,
property
sure.
and stuff. But that's another little thing. But anywho,
I jumped on the HBO Max, the Black Friday deal, $4 a month for a year. Haven't watched anything of it yet because, again, and I'll say it till I die, Bajor doesn't have enough hours in the day for all the stuff I want to do and watch. Say I got NCIS came back this week. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet, and it's a doozy.
You see, do you know what? Even though I'm like halfway through season 8 of Criminal Minds, especially this last week, I've barely watched anything. I mean, it's very rare that I watch anything on TV anyway. I mean, obviously, apart from what I need to for technical track, but there's so much that, I mean, I still haven't seen season 5 of Stranger Things. I haven't caught up on Bridgerton. I haven't, but there's so much that I haven't seen. Like season 2 of Percy Jackson, I haven't seen that. And I mean, I haven't, like, today was the first time in like a week, maybe, a week and a half or something, that I've actually read. I sat and read, and usually I read a little bit every day, but I've just been too caught up in my writing. And
it's a good thing.
It is. I'm nearly done with book 2 now, but it's very rare that I get to watch. Well, not that I get to watch, but that I'm able to sort of be in that frame of mind to be able to watch TV. So I am on a go slow, because I mean, usually I can watch even like a 24 episode season at like 45 minutes or an hour. I can usually get that watched in like a day and a half to 2 days. But it's taking me forever. But I really do hope that they do bring the Orville back, because I want to know if I'm right about Isaac.
Which is
basically, I said after the Orville ended that if they did do a season 4, which I still hope they do, I believe that because Isaac has had a taste of emotion, he is, as with Data in Star Trek, he is, before he got that ability to feel emotion, albeit brief, he did display signs of potential emotion, just like Data did. But now that he's had that taste of emotion, even though it completely screwed him up and he had to get rid of that ability to feel, I actually think that he's going to evolve and develop emotion naturally because of that. And I think that would be something very different to do but also absolutely beautiful. I really do. And FYI, Mark Jackson, who plays Isaac, he hasn't aged a day. So,
Yeah.
When Isaac
Clip
looks
that.
but no, I am hoping that Academy goes far as well. I'm hoping that it gets renewed for season 3 at the very least, because I think that it's got a lot of potential. And if people give it a true chance and look at it objectively and not go into it, Travis, not go into it looking for things to dispute and nitpick and compare to TOS, I think that people will enjoy it. And I don't give a crap that people are calling it Star Trek 90210. Not being funny around, I could not stand Beverly Hills 90210. I like this. So, I love you too, Travis. I really do.
I do want to see it succeed, even if I can't get into it as much as other Star Trek shows. I do want to see it succeed because I think it does have an audience, and I think it does. And Star Trek needs it. They need kind of the boost. I'd like to see it continue to get an audience. I want to see people enjoy it.
And you know what, Phil, on that right there, a lot of these, because I know I would say people like myself is a little outdated and stuff and everything else, but you know what, a lot of these new Trek stuff has put a lot of young people on going back and say, you know what, I'm gonna go back and rewatch the old Star Trek stuff. And when they go on the adventure and the endeavor, like the two guys from Target Audience or another guy who lives in he's studying to be a teacher. He lives in Vancouver. But they are on a trek where they seen the modern day, some of the modern day movies and stuff like that, but they're actually watching stuff in order, like from TOS, TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise, and then they're gonna watch each series, the newer series that come out and stuff like that, because they don't know what's to come and stuff, and they say they're gonna absorb it all and everything else. But that's one of the things that, like, this particular show is gonna do for younger people, for the target demographics and audience and stuff, is to hopefully get them to be like, you know what, let's go back and see what all these older people who hate on it, and let's see what their Trek is like. That's what I'm just hoping that they do, be like, let's go back and see old Trek.
You see, I love, well, obviously not TOS, but I love the old Trek, but I also love the new Trek. Don't get me wrong, I couldn't get into Prodigy. It took me a while to get into
right there with you. I'm right there with you, Prodigy.
It took me a while to get into Lower Decks, but I eventually got into it and I enjoyed it. But I mean, I absolutely love the Kelvin Timeline movies. I really do, because it was something different, and they rewrote certain things within Trek, but they still kept it Star Trek, and because it was an alternate timeline, they could get away with making certain changes, and some of the changes they did make were actually really, really, really good. And I love Discovery. I don't like season 1 of it, but I like the rest of it. I mean, it took me 3 months to get through season 1. When it usually takes me like a day or two to get through a full season. But I mean, honestly, some of my favorite episodes are when the Queen is in it, because that cat is just absolutely beautiful. She is a queen. And yeah, I adore that cat. I want to snuggle that cat every time I see her. But I love Strange New Worlds. And
yeah, I love Strange New Worlds because it's more episodic than what all the other new shows have been doing, which is got a big old story arc. You can get away with missing an episode. Sorry.
You see, as much as I don't mind like it being, you know, something different every week, I like to have a sliver of a story arc going through it. Like, even though it was episodic in Strange New Worlds, you had the storyline of the Gorn going right through it until
Yeah.
like the big epic confrontation. Now, I like that because, you know, even though you've got something going on, there's still other things going on in the ship. They still have missions to do and things like that. But that threat of the Gorn is always there. That story arc is always like there.
A sub
But there's
arc.
still, yeah, and it kind of like gets pushed into the background, but then it comes forward, then it gets pushed into the background. And I think that's what I didn't like about the later seasons of DS9, because the majority of it was just war episode, war episode, war, and it's just like, nah, this needs breaking up a hell of a lot more. And I think if it was broken up a lot more, I would have enjoyed it more. So I like that. And as with like TNG and Voyager, you had your story arcs, but then they were also episodic as well. And it's trying to keep that balance, I think. And like Academy, it's very episodic, but there's still certain slithers going through it. Sometimes they're pulled to the front, other times they're pushed to the back. And that's what Trek's always been. You know, and well, Mammoth TOS, because you know that doesn't exist in my world. But we'll go from like, when I talk about all throughout Trek, I'm talking about from episode 1 of TNG. You know, that's what Trek has always been. It's always been like episodic, but you've still had your different story acts going through it in each season. That is, you know, back and forth. And the majority of the time, it's always had good balance. And Academy has got that. Oh,
Woo!
Jesus Christ.
Huh?
The-
Squirrel come.
If you guys are all right, I'm going to call it for tonight. I'm going to take something and crash
Yeah.
out.
okay, yeah, we're going to wrap it up here in a few minutes, Phil. So thanks for popping in. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to come in for a little bit, anyways. But I'll be back next week. So
Thank you,
Alrighty.
Phil. You be safe. Dylan
Oh,
says
I will
be
do.
safe too.
Thanks, everyone.
Sweet dreams.
But yeah, Zane, there was something else that was mentioned that I was going to kind of end cap it with, but I'm drawing a blank because I didn't write it down. But it's kind of funny. I don't remember if I did it last week or not, but I definitely want to kind of make it my end cap for every episode going forward. And the way they ended this episode tonight kind of really hits things home. And I think that's where it hit the hardest for me with what's gone on with the last couple of days, is that Nala was saying that time is both finite, or time is both forever and achingly finite, but what a shame it would be to not live life every moment.
Yeah.
If you are struggling, if you're feeling hopeless, is say, well, here in the States and in Canada, say you can dial 988. It's the suicide prevention hotline. They have call centers all over the place that connects you to local resources to help you in that regard. I say there, call a friend, call the loved one, call a closed mouth individual that you can trust and open your heart to. Say you are not alone in this. And saying, I mean, while yeah, it's they're just there are people that you might not know directly, you might not even know indirectly, but there are people that do care about you. So until next week, may Spock be with you. Hailing frequencies closed.
Toodles.